As I always am on every Monday, I'd like to invite you to join me in the chat room by going to 12radio.com and clicking on the chat button. You will find me there in two different ways. It'll take you right to our Facebook group when you click on that. And you will find my post pinned at the top of the page. My producer Scott has put that there. And that will be the place that I will be taking your questions and comments, requests for readings later on in the show. So be sure to post there. I'm also live in the chat on Facebook Live, so you can find that just below my pinned post. You can watch the show if you would rather watch it than listen. Just don't try to do both because the sound does not sync up. But you will find that it's a lot of fun to get to watch the show. I enjoy it. I feel like I'm sort of looking you in the eye a little more than just talking to you on the radio when I'm on video as well. So I like the energy of that. Excuse me. I have so much to share with you today. We'll be doing a meditation. I'm going to share the stone of the week. I have a topic, and I also will be doing readings in the chat. So I will be taking your questions later on in the show. Feel free to post those. It's just a reminder that I won't get to everybody, and I do prefer questions that are sort of topical to what I'm talking about today on the show. So if you keep your questions focused there, I'm a little more likely to be able to take your question. But you can always find me over at 12radio.com later on after the show. If what I have to say today resonates with you and you feel like you need to go a little bit deeper on it, you can do that by going over to 12listen.com and finding me there. Okay, so this week has been an interesting week. Actually, we've just been going through an interesting period, and I want to talk about something that I have talked about here before on the show, but I find that some topics have a tendency to repeat in our lives, and so it's a good idea to revisit them periodically. So today I want to talk about disruption. So I've noticed recently that things seem to be falling apart for many people that I know. Not just one crisis or disaster occurs, but a series of them that seems to impact nearly every area of their life. I've had some of those experiences myself recently. This is the energy of disruption. And at first glance, it seems to be a time of negative and difficult experiences that kind of compound into one another. And difficult, but there's another perspective that we need to look at. When disruption occurs, we are forced to look at our priorities, shift our thinking, and at times experience moments of clarity and enlightenment. When we come out the other side, we have left behind many things that no longer serve us, and we can rebuild in a better way. And so although disruption can feel like a bad thing, it can feel like, you know, everything is coming down on our heads and everything is falling apart. In reality, it's an opportunity to look at our priorities, really determine what really matters to me and what doesn't, let things go that no longer serve you, and, you know, reconnect to what really does matter, and rebuild what's going on in your life with the things that you choose, the relationships that you want, the situations that you want, and let go of the ones that maybe just don't really serve you anymore, that you're carrying along with you because they were an obligation at some point, or they were a frustration that you just couldn't seem to let go of. Maybe it was something that you used to enjoy and now you don't so much anymore, and you're ready to let something else go. So that's what I want to talk about today. It's an experience that we all have throughout our lives. We go through periods of disruption. We all do. Everyone does. And we have an opportunity to choose how we respond to a period of disruption. We can, you know, let it destroy us and say that, you know, this is the worst experience of my life and everything's falling apart and nothing's okay. Or we can take that as an opportunity to really look at what really matters in my life. What am I hanging on to that just is not a big deal to me anymore? Really, I don't care about, or I don't need, or I don't want in my life. How can I use this falling apart energy as a way to rebuild my life, to get things back the way that I want them to be? So here are some thoughts of mine. If you're facing a period of challenges and disruption in your life, consider some of these things. Disruption can steer you in a new direction. The roadblocks that appear may in fact be protective. They may be steering you away from a situation that is not in your best interest. So if things continue to seem to fall apart and there's always something getting in your way, you might consider that you need to take a different tack, that it's possible that you're going in the wrong direction, and that's a little assistance from the universe to say, hey, wrong way, try another direction. Maybe something else will work out better. This is another opportunity to look at, have you overcommitted to responsibilities that you can't or don't want to bear? Disruption is a way to shake loose everything that is not really important in your life, freeing you from responsibilities and obligations that take your time and energy away from what you truly want. It's a great chance to go, man, here's some stuff I'm doing I don't really want to do. And because I'm going through a period of crisis, it's an opportunity to say, yeah, I just don't have the energy for this in my life anymore, and let it go. Disruption also forces you to assess your priorities in a crisis situation. You may be surprised at what you keep when you don't have time to overanalyze. You really, really have an opportunity to see what matters and what you really want to focus on. Disruption will show you the true nature of your closest relationships. Strong relationships will get stronger, and weaker relationships may crumble in an experience like this. And so it brings clarity in relationships. If you've been questioning a relationship, it's a good opportunity to really see who's here for the long haul for me and who isn't. Who do I really turn to when I'm struggling and when I need strength? And who is more of a hindrance or not supportive? Disruption also sheds light on weak foundations. So when everything falls, you have the chance to rebuild a firmer foundation that can truly support you. So if you're struggling to feel safe and secure in your situation and everything falls apart, you need to look at what is it about your situation that makes you feel unsafe or things feel unstable or like your needs aren't always being met. How can you rebuild that in a better way? Disruption is also evidence of the inevitable change that we all experience. It is not the change, but how we react to it that is transformational. Keeping our thoughts positive and looking for the silver lining in every experience is key. Honor your emotions and then choose a positive response to what you have experienced. Because the reality is that change and disruption are always going to happen in every single life. We cannot avoid those things. We cannot find a way to become exempt from them. It's just not, that's not reality. This is going to continue to happen throughout our lives. And so we can look at it as an opportunity to grow, or we can look at it as an opportunity to lament and, be down in the dumps about things. It's okay to have your emotions and feel the way that you do. It's okay to be angry or frustrated or irritated or scared in a situation. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is what you do with those emotions that really counts. So it's important to think about, what am I going to do with this? What direction do I take this change? And remember that disruption does not last forever. It's important to be grateful for everything that you learn from it and to be grateful for your new perspective because you've gained something from this experience. Every bad experience brings something positive into our lives. I have no doubt of that. I know that's been true throughout my life. I'm sure that it has been throughout yours. And so remember that a period of disruption is short term. And when it is over, you have an opportunity to reflect and look back and ask yourself, okay, so what did I learn from this? What did I get out of this experience? Did I take full advantage of the chance to change direction in my life if I wanted to strengthen my foundation, and to let go of things that no longer serve me? And hopefully you will. But I know that sometimes people think that, or I'm told particularly by my son, that I always see the positive in every experience. But I really do work at that because I don't think there's any value in wallowing in a bad experience. It doesn't change it. So if I can find the silver linings, at least I get something out of it, right? So that is what I encourage you to do if you're going through an experience where there's some disruption going on in your life. So disruption does have a significant impact on the energy body. So it usually causes a root crown shift. So this means that your root chakra shifts out of alignment and becomes underactive. This will cause your crown chakra to shift out of alignment and become overactive. So your energy body becomes a tornado rather than that Kundalini spiral, which is what we want to see. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the root crown shift. We're going to talk about how it happens, what to do about it, and different ways to really come out of that part of it, because it's a natural response to change, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay that way. So we're going to start with a meditation. And so Scott and I are going to synchronize our watches here so that the meditation will air on the radio as well as on the video. So Scott, if you don't mind, we're going to cue up energy breathing. This is a meditation that I wrote to help with things like the root crown shift, and I'm going to go ahead and press play. Thank you.
Energy breathing. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Bring your attention to your root chakra at the base of your spine. Feel the spiral of energy that connects you to the earth. Send your root chakra energy down your legs. Drop your root cords out of the bottoms of your feet and down to the center of the earth. See the spirit of the earth, Gaia, and ask her to take hold of your root cords, making a strong connection, grounding you and centering you. Now, as you breathe in, draw the earth's energy up through your root cords, in through the bottoms of your feet, up your legs, and feel the energy center in your root chakra. Feel this powerful energy travel up through each of your chakras, energizing you. As the energy travels, it pushes stagnant energy up and out of each chakra. Feel the pressure build and then burst from your crown chakra, renewing and activating your entire energy body. Repeat this cycle several times. As you breathe in, draw the life-giving Earth's energy up through your entire system, and as you breathe out, release the stagnant energy from your crown chakra. Note the increase in vibration and physical energy you feel after several cycles of energy breathing. Use this technique to reset your energy body anytime. And now, when you're ready, open your eyes.
And welcome back to Kindred Spirits. I'm your host, Kristi Brower, and of course you're listening live to Marvelous Monday here on 12radio.com. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. I know you've heard it before, many of you, and it's something that when I speak to my clients, it's a meditation that I recommend on a very regular basis because it's a basic reset of the energy body. It strengthens and empowers and resets that root chakra, realigns that root chakra to get it functioning the way that it should, and getting that energy clearing all the way out the crown of your head. So renewing that cycle of energy breathing where we breathe in new energy through the root all the way up through your energy body and out, bring out old energy out the crown of your head, just like breathing in new oxygen, out carbon dioxide. It's the same kind of cycle in the body. It gets disrupted for lots of reasons. It is the most common imbalance that I see in the energy body with everyone that I work with. And it is one that you can work on to reset. When you're going through a period of disruption, you can experience, sort of a more long-term root crown shift, where if you go through a big change where, you lose your job or you lose your house or your relationship ends or, a combination of those things happen, that really shakes up the root chakra. That really gets you feeling unstable and unsteady. It's kind of like feeling like you're having an earthquake in your life, or that you're standing on shifting sand. And stabilizing that root is the first key to resolving that energy in yourself. Finding a place of stability inside of yourself helps you to find stability outside of yourself. That really is a key element of all of this, is that when we feel stable inside, then we are stable in the outside as well, and our lives begin to stabilize. We also are more resilient. That's really been my word of the year, is resilience. And being more resilient whenever change happens, being able to bounce back, being able to get to a place of feeling grounded and centered and back to ourselves and, ready to take on whatever's coming, is really important. And it is a skill that we have to work to develop. And a lot of my shows this year have been about different aspects of resilience and ways to bounce back. But one of the most important ways to bounce back when dealing with any kind of disruption is to stabilize the root chakra. We have to get back to that sense of safety inside of ourselves, regardless of what has happened around us. And so energy breathing does help you to do that. Energy breathing is available for free download on my website, which is kristibrower.com. You just click on free meditations and you will see I have lots of meditations there. They are all free to download, and you can pick those up anytime that you need them. But I would encourage you to get energy breathing if you don't already have it, and spend some time working with it. It is a powerful little energy healing. All of my meditations are meant to be not only a meditation, but also an energy healing or balancing. And so it is part of developing your energy intelligence, to learn to understand your energy body in order to better balance yourself, heal yourself, understand yourself. Okay, so when you have a tornado energy body or a root crown shift, not only is your root out of alignment, but everything above it is too, including your crown, which becomes overactive. So you can see why when doing the energy breathing process, if your root is not really pulling in life force energy the way that it should, and pushing all the way up and out the crown of your head and clearing the stagnant energy out of your energy body, that stagnant energy builds up, and it builds up in your upper chakras, particularly in your crown. So that creates all kinds of symptoms. An overactive crown chakra creates symptoms of anxiety and depression, difficulty sleeping, racing thoughts, difficulty focusing, poor memory, are all elements of an overactive crown chakra. So when you balance the root and the crown and you stabilize all of that together, you get back to a place of feeling like you have a little bit more control over your thoughts. You know, we've all been there when you feel like your mind is sort of like a record on repeat and you just cannot get your brain to shut up and do what you want it to do. You likely have an overactive crown chakra. And so energy breathing is meant to balance the root and the crown. So it stabilizes that root, gets that energy flowing through you, which clears out the crown of your head, taking that extra energy, all that extra worry that has built up in your head, all the overthinking. You know, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night and you're analyzing over and over again a situation that you're struggling with? And the worrying and the overthinking, they don't do you any good, do they? They don't solve the problem. Generally, they make the problem worse, I think. So I think it's important to really, you know, be aware that that cycle in your energy body, when it is out of alignment, has some significant impact on your physical and emotional well-being. And so finding ways to balance that are really, really important. We're going to get to the stone of the week here in a minute, but there are a few comments here. I see that this topic is resonating with you, which I'm glad. I always, you know, take a moment to ask, what do we need to know this week? What do we need to hear about? So it's what I write my Power Peak article on, and it's what I base my show on. So I always like to know that this is resonating with you. Sorry, give me 1 second. Facebook is not letting me scroll. There we go. There we go. Looks like several of you are experiencing some disruption and want a reading and a healing about that. So we'll get there in just a few minutes. I wanted to get to a couple other comments and my Facebook does not want to let me do that. Kay says, perfect topic for today. I had a disruptive experience yesterday, but I had to think of it as a growing experience as much as it hurt my feelings and disappointed me. Yeah. Okay, I think it's wise to do that. And it doesn't mean that you have to discount your feelings of being hurt and being disappointed. It's okay to feel that way. You have every right to. But if you can see it as a growing experience and you use it in a positive way forward in your life, it will have a more positive impact on you instead of a negative one. She said, the meditation was great. Oddly, my desire and third eye chakras were very small, but my power and communication chakras were huge. I tried to get them all back in line during the meditation. Good. Yes. So that's interesting. When you have one or two chakras that seem very small and others that seem very big, that can indicate where your focus really is. If you're focusing heavily on a particular area of your life, those chakras may be bigger. And it's always better for your system to be balanced within itself, so that we're not over-focusing in one area or another. Melissa says, I'm starting to think I have late onset ADD. Is that an overactive crown or something going on in the collective scatterbrain? The collective scatterbrain, I like that. Well, Melissa, I would say that it's both. You certainly do have an overactive crown, and so working on that will help those symptoms of feeling like you can't focus. But there is an energy of that sort of collective ADD. I'm glad that you brought that up because that is a real thing right now. For when we're struggling with grounding, everyone is struggling with grounding. So many changes with the earth recently. Every time there's a big cycle of natural disasters, which we're in the middle of right now, the energy of the earth shifts and changes. And so we have to shift and change with it, or we don't stay grounded. So a daily grounding exercise is important because you sort of have to find where is the earth at today and connect. So because that is the case and lots of people are ungrounded, there is a lot of scattered energy out there. It's creating conflict, definitely. I think there's a lot of acting and talking without thinking, and that is one of the symptoms of an overactive crown, is when you have so much going on in your head, there's pressure in your thinking, and so you say everything before you really think it through, and we're seeing that a lot, and there's a lot of conflict going on thanks to that. So it's a good point and something that, the more of us that can work on being grounded and reconnecting our roots, the better. Let's see. Take a drink real quick. Okay, I want to talk about the stone of the week for a minute. The stone of the week is Tibetan quartz, and Tibetan quartz is the stone of the year. I've talked about it several times this year because I see it as the stone of resilience. And it's a really important one to help us through disruption and to help us with root crown shifts. Tibetan quartz balances the root and crown chakras, brings about a sense of calm and stability, and supports resilience. So I'm going to show you a piece of Tibetan quartz here if you're watching the video. Tibetan quartz is not the most beautiful stone you'll ever see. It's a quartz that has a lot of black inclusions in it. It's always kind of hazy and smoky, but it is truly one of my favorite quartzes because it is so positive in its ability to balance the energy body, root and crown. It makes a great stone for grounding and balancing the crown as well. It's a pretty easy stone to get. It's inexpensive. Most metaphysical stores carry it, so you can pick up a little piece. Most pieces you'll find are double terminated, and they have like extra little points growing on the sides of them. That's really common in Tibetan quartz. Some of them are sort of etched like this one is. It's sort of matte rather than, it doesn't have shiny surfaces, it's more matte. It's just a really wonderful stone for the energy of it. So if you don't have any, I suggest you find yourself a piece when you can. It's a great stone to carry with you, to be a worry stone, to be a meditation stone. You can hold it and meditate with it when you're experiencing anxiety. It will help you to ground and connect and clear that excess energy out of your crown to help come to a place of balance if you're feeling anxiety and struggling. Let's see. Okay, so we've got lots of requests for messages. Guinevere says, how can I let go of the negative energy from other people so I can do my job peacefully? So much conflict there. Sad thing is that it isn't what I want to be doing, but I can't leave. Okay. So first of all, it's important for you to acknowledge that I don't like this place. I don't like these people, but I need this job. Be honest with yourself about it. I'm not going to tell you that you have to like it or that you have to like the people that you work with if it's negative. You don't. But it will help you if you do a couple of things. I would suggest getting a piece of selenite to go in your work area, on your desk, or wherever you work if you can. Selenite is a transmuting stone, and so it clears the energy around it. It clears all negative energy, transmutes it into light. And so it's a great stone to help with negative workplaces. It's a salt, it's gypsum, it's white, and it is inexpensive. It's easy to get, and it is often carved like in towers and other shapes. So it's a stone that you can have at work that people don't necessarily know that you're doing crystal work, if that's not something that you want people to know, but it's a great stone to help with that. The other thing I would recommend is the visualization of a wall of bulletproof glass. I recommend this a lot, but man, it really works, and it really works well in workplaces. So if you have people in your workplace that are negative, visualize a wall of bulletproof glass between you and them. Remember that your thoughts control your energy body. And so when you create a barrier like that with your mind that says, I'm creating a wall here, your energy doesn't get to come in, that's your space over there, this is my space over here, this is a separation between you and me, setting a boundary, it will help you to feel more positive while you are at work. You will have less impact from other people's energy. So get the selenite, use the wall of bulletproof glass, and then here's the last one that is a little bit more difficult for a lot of us, but it's important. Try to be objective about the people that you work with. Really think about what you know about them and their lives. Help to explain to yourself, why are they the way they are? Why is this place negative the way that it is? It is not an excuse, but it is an understanding. You probably know more than you're giving yourself permission to use. We all are aura readers. It's what we do as we impact. Our energy bodies are impacted by other people's and vice versa. We are reading other people's energy. So pay attention to what you feel from those around you. Work on having compassion for people who are very unhappy at work. They're not happy. They're not in a good situation. Maybe they feel like you do. This is a negative place. I don't like being here, but I can't leave. I can't afford to not work here anymore. It's not really what I want to do, but I have to have this job. It's possible that they feel similarly to you. Now, we know that sometimes when people struggle in a negative situation, that they lash out at other people. They use that as an excuse to attack rather than take responsibility for themselves. And so those are the folks that we tend to not like to work with so much, because they're the ones that impact us the most negatively. So find ways to be kind, even if the people around you aren't. Find ways to be understanding, even if the people around you aren't. Be that person because that is who you are, not because they deserve it or because, that's what they are. Don't put up with abuse, but at the same time, have compassion in whatever way that you can. Having some compassion and showing love to people who are struggling does generally make things better. It helps you to rise up above it a little bit also, so that you can understand it from a more objective perspective, and then use the selenite and the wall of bulletproof glass to create a barrier between your energy and theirs. You don't have to take on their energy. That's not required in any way, but it is helpful to have a little compassion. If they're so unhappy, there are probably reasons for that. So spend a little time understanding that as well. I hope those things help, Guinevere. You can always reach me over at one2listen.com if you want to work on this a little bit more deeply, okay? But thank you so much for that question. Let's see. Check out what else we've got here. Marina says, I'm feeling my soul's need for change, more fulfillment needed. Okay. So this is a form of disruption. You're feeling blah, right? You're feeling like things have gotten dull. You're not really getting any excitement out of your life. That is a form of disruption where things just sort of get boring. Good opportunity to evaluate. Are you doing what you want to do? Are you doing what you love? Are you happy being where you are? And if not, how can you change that? So sometimes disruption comes because we make the changes ourselves. Sometimes it comes because changes happen to us. Either way, all of the tenets that I've talked about today apply. But for you, Marina, maybe you need to look at, okay, so I don't feel like I'm getting much out of what I'm doing. So how do I change that? Often it only takes changing one thing. We frequently feel like we need to change everything in our lives when we start feeling this way. And usually it's only one thing. So pick the thing that bothers you the most and change it. And see how the other things around you may shift. Okay. Get to a couple more here. Nice to have all of you on the videos. And you may or may not know that, but I video in 2 places. So right now I'm airing on 12radio.com, in the 12radio chat room, and on my own fan page, Kristi A. Brower. I do that just so that I can reach as many of you as I can. So it's nice to see all of you here. Let's see. I'm going to have... Fran says, can someone please spell the stone for negative workplace? It's selenite, Selenite. Great one for negative workplaces. Let's see. Judy says, hi, Kristi. Holy shit moment. My ex-husband just texted me that he's just gotten laid off. Our court date for unpaid arrears is scheduled for 3 days from now. So many emotions. Wished him a better job, but... yikes, some help with moving through. Judy, you are an excellent example of disruption, right? Okay, so things have changed significantly then. How do you sue someone for unpaid child support when they don't have a job? Well, let this play out. One of the things that happens with disruption is that we feel like we need an answer right this minute. And that doesn't always solve it, because if someone is going through a significant season of changes, we don't have the final answer yet. I feel like, Judy, that him losing this job in the long run may be a positive, because the next job may be a better one that may put him in a better position to actually solve and pay his share of things. So don't jump immediately to this is a terrible thing, when in reality it could be a good thing. Remember that things are moving forward in his life to, he's trying to make his life better, just like you're trying to make your life better. And so I suspect that in the long run, this may be a positive. I also suspect that things might get postponed as far as court is concerned, or he may ask for that because of his job situation. I know that you've already been waiting for a really long time, and that is frustrating. Try to focus on the positives and how this can turn into a good thing. Also stay focused on what you can do about it and let go of the things that you can't. Much of this situation is outside of your control. So worrying about it and thinking about it and, really pressuring yourself about it won't do you any good, because you're not in charge of what will happen with him and his job. So give it some time, allow it to play out, focus on other things in your life. When we have to wait, we're not good waiters. I'm a terrible waiter. I am not a patient person. I struggle with that a lot. I find that I need to develop things in my life that are things that I can do when I'm waiting, right? You want something good to be happening in your life. You're trying to bring something forward. But what are you doing right now to do things that are positive for yourself, positive for your community, creative, loving? So, Judy, go do something good for somebody else. Go do some service somewhere. Go do something that brings you some joy and gets you out of this situation and out of your head. Excuse me. And you will find that your focus will shift a lot, and you won't have to worry about this so much. I think it will work out the best way possible for you guys in the end. It's just going to take a little more time, which I know is hard to hear. But I still feel like this is positive. So stay with it. Stay with it. And put your focus on the things that you do have control over and on the things that you love and matter to you, and let this situation play out the way that it's meant to. Remember that this is more about him than it is about you. So it's his life. He has to play it out, not you. Okay? Sorry, guys. Got to have a little drink. Jane says, I'm feeling hugely grateful for you, you 1-2 Radio, and all the party people here. Spent weekend tuning in away from all the bad, sad news on regular radio. You are my salvation in a rough time. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you for being here. Certainly what we want to do is bring a positive perspective to the world, a spiritual perspective to the world, a perspective focused on love and focused on taking good care of ourselves and other people. That's important. And I know that there's plenty of crappy stuff going on, but it doesn't mean that there aren't good things going on, because there are always good things going on. Shelly says, I'm 41, just sold my house, looking at jobs in DC and Hawaii. Okay, big period of disruption for you, and you did it to yourself, right? You sold your house. You're looking at potentially moving a significant distance. That's awesome. Stay focused on your goals. Stay focused on what you want. Do the energy breathing meditation. Selling your house and looking at moving and changing jobs. All of those things can be a bit disruptive to your root chakra. So really focus on being grounded and connected and keeping your energy body functioning through this time. It's positive change. You set it off because you want it, obviously. But all change can cause some disruption to the root. Whether we see it as good or bad, it can still create that. So, Shelley, make sure that you do that. Kevin says, love the disruption topic. How do we transcend past life disruptions? Interesting. Okay. Well, it's important to look at how our previous life experiences are impacting this life. And so there are a lot of different ways to look at that. Past life regression is one of them, to help you to understand where you're coming from in various areas. I do a past life connections reading. So I don't do regression, but I look at your chords. Excuse me. I look at your connections to previous lives and how they may be impacting this life. So look at patterns, look at things that are repeating for you, Kevin, and ask yourself, does this feel like this is bigger than this lifetime? Is this an issue I feel like I've struggled with before? We tend to know the answer to those questions. It just takes us a little while to answer it in ourselves, because it can be, because it's not happening to us now, we tend to doubt it a little bit. But I will bet that you know exactly what those past life issues are. Certainly something that we could look at. I want to listen. I do have an email reading called Past Life Connections where we could look at that if you have a particular area that you want to look at, and I can tell you what your past life connections are, what your experiences have been in previous lives relating to that particular issue, and then we pull all your cords, so we pull all your connections to that lifetime so that you are not carrying that through into this one. Okay? It's a good question. Thank you. Let's see. Judy says, been doing a golden light purple flame transmuting meditation. It's helping quite a bit. Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yes. Keep transmuting. Keep throwing that worry into something to transmute it and let things play out the way that they are supposed to. And trust that things are going to work out good for you. They always do. Okay. Now I have more questions. Sorry, guys, Facebook is being really weird about letting me scroll today in the chat. I'm going to take a drink while it catches up. Okay. Melissa says, I would love some input on how to clear energy in the new house we are moving into without removing any of the good vibes that are already there. Thanks. Okay, this is a good question. So it's all about intention. When you go to clear a space, you intend to clear away any energy that isn't for your best good, that doesn't serve you, that is low vibrating. Those are the kinds of words that you want to use in relation to what you're clearing from the house. And so you could do that with sage, you could do it with a white candle, you could burn some dragon's blood incense. Any of those things would work, or any other way that you like to clear space. But remember that the key here is your intention. So what are you asking to clear? What are you asking to remove from the space? You know, we never want to remove the good energy or the positive energy or the high vibrating energy. We want to remove the low vibrating energy, the energy that doesn't serve me, the energy that isn't for my best good. Those are the kinds of things. So use your intention to do that clearing. I think you'll do it just great. Let's see. Lynn says, glad to be listening today. I was wondering if you could please take a look at my back and help clear anything there. I had an argument on October 5th, and there feels like a hole in my mid-back since. Thank you. Yes. Oh, Lynn, I'm so sorry. Yes, you have what I call a spear. It's a thought form attachment. So remember, our thoughts control our energy bodies. So when we have really strong emotional reactions to other people, sometimes we fire an arrow or throw a spear at them. It's done on the energy plane. Most of us are unaware that we are doing it, but it creates attachments or an energy connection between us and somebody else. And it can cause all kinds of physical symptoms. It's sort of like having a sliver. Your body is setting off an alarm saying, ding, 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 there's something going on here. This isn't mine. It shouldn't be here. And so you can have pain and discomfort. You can have pressure in a place where there isn't really any physical problem. It's because of the attachment itself. So what we do with that, Lynn, is we're going to pull it. We're going to pull out the spear. And we're going to heal that energy. And then I'm going to send it back to the person that it came from, because it belongs to them. It's their energy. It's still attached to their energy body. So of course I heal it before I send it back, because it's not like I'm getting revenge by throwing the spear back at them. It's simply that I'm returning to them what is theirs. You will feel relief quickly. So I'm just going to heal the damage in your energy body where the spear was skewering you, basically. We're going to heal that. You know, and one of the things that happens in a situation like this is when an attachment is formed, then it creates this pipeline of emotional energy between two people. And it can keep an argument going, or, you know, negative feelings toward each other going, because you feel them, they feel you. It just sort of never goes away, and it can amplify a situation. So clearing the attachment allows the situation to die down. It brings the intensity down, and it allows you to move forward. It also will stop your physical symptoms that you're experiencing in your back. So I think that you're going to find that you will feel quite a lot better. That attachment is cleared and healed. Remember that most people have no idea that they do those things. And so the person who created that attachment didn't mean to create it. It is an unconscious thing that we all do. Once we learn about it and know, we can stop it. We can pull a cord back and say, oh, I just fired an arrow at them. I'm going to return that to myself. I don't want that. But for lots of people, that is something that happens unconsciously. So remember that with them, that they did not mean to do that to you. Generally, people don't, but I did clear that up for you and heal it, okay? So thank you for your question. Let's see. Christine says, wow, this topic is so to the point for me today. This morning on my way to work, my heart not just skipped a beat, as it does every now and then, but kind of stopped and took longer than usual to start up again. I was about to pull over and already started seeing tiny flickering lights when it finally started beating again. This really shook me up and indeed made me think about, what if this were my last day? What am I doing with my life? Like, seriously. I had several tests done last month and everything was fine. I would really appreciate a look at what's going on here, please. Thanks. Yeah, let's take a look. Of course, I will always recommend that if you are feeling something weird in your heart, that needs to be looked at by a doctor. Obviously, you're already on that. But let's take a look at it from an energy body standpoint. Okay, so Christine, for you, I know that the last few years have been a challenge for you. There's been a lot of grief. There's been a lot of frustration. You've come out of a lot of that now. And I do feel like you have an opportunity to really focus on what is your heart's desire. What do you really want to do with your life? Because it's a valid question. What am I doing with my life? Is this what I want to be doing with my life? And if it's not, how can you change that? How can you make additions to your life? You know, sometimes we have to keep the job that we don't really like because it pays the bills. You know, that's reality. But it doesn't mean that you can't add some things to your life that you really love. I feel like the word heart's desire, or this phrase, I guess, heart's desire, keeps coming to mind for you as I'm checking in on you. And so I do feel like that's the reminder to you, is what is your heart's desire? What is it that you really want to be doing? And how can you add that into your life? How can you give yourself permission to do that? And really take the time and energy to do that. And maybe you don't even know the answer, and that's okay. Now is a time to go on an adventure of exploration for yourself and determine, what is it really? What do I want out of my life? How do I get that? How do I get what I want? And, you know, what is it that I want to go and get? So spend some time with that, Christine. But that's what I feel like the answer is on the energy plane. Now, physically, I want you to keep talking to your doctors and make sure that the next time you see your doctor, you let them know that experience happened. Because we always want to be keeping an eye on the physical stuff too. Rarely is a physical symptom only energy. It's usually more than one thing. So just keep that in mind, okay? But thank you for that question. That's a powerful experience. Okay, hang on one second. Fran says, I would love a message about to switch directions and end a period of caregiving and move into the workforce again. A lot of anxiety around this. Okay, so Fran, definitely a period of disruption, a period of change for you. I'm curious about what the anxiety is about. Just the fear of putting yourself out there again, having to work. You know, really be honest with yourself about what is it that you're afraid of. Face it first. That's key. That's key. Keep doing energy breathing and balancing that root chakra and keeping that crown clear. Take this advice as well. Try seeing this as a positive move rather than a scary one. Remind yourself that you are in a position to really choose the next direction in your life. It's not just about what you have to do, but it can be about what you want to do. So it can be an exciting time. It can be a fun time. You get to be in charge again. When you're a caregiver, you're sort of at the mercy of the situation, aren't you? You have to be there for that person and provide whatever it is that they need, whether it's convenient for you, whether it's what you want, whether it's, you know, in the timing that you want it to be, or any of those things. That can be really challenging. to realize that, you're not really in control of the situation. Things are shifting for you now. You are in control of this situation. So spend some time on that. What is it that you really want to do? What do you really want to spend time doing? What matters to you? If you could do anything, what would it be? Ask yourself those questions. Give yourself the chance to see this as a good thing, to see this as a positive rather than a scary time. It's okay to acknowledge your anxieties, but it's important too to see it as a chance to make a change and do something you really want to do. Okay? Good luck. And I'm here for you. If I can help in any other way, I'd be happy to. Okay? Let's see. Lynn says, hi, I've been told I need a difficult surgery. Do you see if I should go through with it or not? Lynn, I feel like you should get a second opinion. I'm not going to say whether or not you should have the surgery because I'm not a doctor. I can't define that for you. But I do feel like you should have a second opinion with a clearer explanation of the purpose of the surgery and the recovery and all of those things. I don't feel like you have had as clear an explanation, as much info as you should, and you have every right to that. So take the opportunity to ask for someone else to give you another opinion on it before you make your decision, okay? And then really go with your gut. You should do what you feel is right. Get all of the information that you can, and then remember it's your body. So you should choose. But get all of the advice, all of the medical advice and information that you can so that you are making an informed choice, okay? But go get that second opinion. I think that's important. Oriana says, I'm not sure if the guy I'm dating is into me. Can you give me any insight? Let's see, Oriana. I do feel some hesitation with him. Now, I'm going to say that I don't think that hesitation is about you. I feel like the hesitation is about his past experiences with dating. He does have some fear about getting close to people. He does have some fear about getting hurt. And so the hesitation that I feel is about that, not so much about you. So I feel like it's okay to discuss it, to say, hey, this is what I'm feeling from you. Help me understand. And then acknowledge his feelings and give him an opportunity to have time to trust and to feel safe with you. Sometimes I feel like we rush things when we don't really need to. So give him the time that he needs, but it's okay to say to him, I'm not sure that, you're really all that into me. Can we talk about it a little bit? What are your intentions for our relationship? And let him, tell you how he feels. And be open to giving him time if that's what he needs, okay? Olin says she can feel a warm glow where the pain was in her back. Good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. That is something that helps very much with pain, is to clear an attachment like that. It's pretty quick how much relief you get. So I'm really glad that you're feeling that. All right, you guys, we are down to the end of the show. I want to say thank you so much for all of you, for being here, for listening, for participating, for watching the videos, and being a part of this. You can always find me here on Mondays with 1-2 News and Kindred Spirits. Normally, you would find me on Thursday with the Psychic Sisters. I won't be there this week, but we have some great guest sisters, some honorary Psychic Sisters that will be joining Katie. You will find me for the rest of the day over at 1-2 Listen. So if what you've heard today resonates with you and you feel like you could use some help with disruption or change or your energy or anything like that in your life, you'll find me over there, and I would be happy to help you. Thanks for listening to 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.